This is the Digital Shelf Insider podcast of Metrics Card. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Digital Shelf Insider podcast of Metrics Card. I'm your host, Shreshta, and today we have Walter Holbrook joining us. Walter is a top retail expert and he's the founder of Yoda Retail. He's been in the industry for more than 20 years and he's been associated with many major retailers such as Kmart, Turner Acer, Hardware, Gates in the past. A very warm welcome to you, Walter, and super thrilled to have this conversation with you.
Thank you for this opportunity. I love talking about retail.
Right. So, to begin with, many of us end up in the retail space by sheer accident. What has been your career journey like? If you want to elaborate from the beginning to what's
Sure.
now.
I love that. I think it is an accident. I think it's not necessarily something we plan to do.
Right.
When I was a young boy, I had visions of being an architect, and I had plans of designing homes and buildings when I was a grown up. But when I was 14, I went to work at the local mom and pop convenience store, stocking counters. And that was 50 years ago, and I never looked back. I went from there. I took the position as a department head at Kmart. And along the way, I joined their executive ranks, became a store manager, a district manager, or regional, and then I became an officer of the company. And at that time, Kmart was Fortune 50. It was a $4 billion business unit. And it was a pretty nice cap to a long career. And then after I left Kmart, I ran two other companies in the off-price industry, settled down to do some consulting work. And now I'm focused on building Yoda Retail as a boutique consulting operation. So it's been a long journey, but a very exciting one.
Awesome. So inspiring to hear that.
Well, thank you.
So, we right now what we see is there is a surge in e-commerce in the US, and a forecast from e-marketers suggests that this is going to go up steadily in the coming years. And shoppers are there for value, the convenience, as well as definitely they want to grab discounts when it comes online. What do you think retailers can do to increase the footfall in physical retail space?
Well, I think there's one thing that I have been pounding on forever, and that is the secret sauce of brick and mortar retail. It has to be exciting, emotional. It becomes an experience, and then it's surrounded by compelling merchandise. Now, I don't mean to be a retail elitist. You can be a mom and pop store and be in the middle of nowhere. And if you're in stock, that can be pretty exciting and pretty emotional to that customer. So it isn't all about the bells and whistles, though. When you're in a competitive environment, you better have something special that shows the customer. And there's a couple brands that I think do an outstanding job. Bass Pro does a great job. RH is as exciting as it can get. Costco, my God, there's nothing more exciting than a Costco. Walmart's come a long ways. Target has always presented itself as a pretty exciting place based around merchandise. So there's a lot of labels out there that I think do a good job. My biggest concerns have to do when the brick and mortar stores aren't providing the customers with what they want.
Absolutely. Uh, we are in 2025 right now, and the shopping experiences that are out there is drastically changing. Just today in the morning, I happened to read about how AI shopping agents are going to take over, and they're going to do the shopping for us online. So that's the shopping at the e-commerce end. How do you think the current shopping experiences or behaviors are around different generations in the physical retail environment?
Well, I think AI, it's a little early to tell you exactly what it's going to do. I think everyone has an idea. I like to focus on today. So if I'm a shopper today, if I'm a consumer, I want to be able to come to a store, be clean and neat, be in stock, be able to find what I'm looking for, have a value price on the item, and provide me some type of reasonable service. Now, in the long run, I would hope technology, and we'll call AI technology, would support the enterprise and make that trip that much easier. That's what I hope AI, and that's what I've always hoped that technology does. It supports the enterprise. But today in our stores, it is still a people first environment. Do you have the right people? Do you have them in place? Do you have the right process? Are you presenting your store well? Is leadership got passion? Those key traits are not going away. I don't think AI is going to fill all of our stores. I don't think they're going to ring up all of our merchandise. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But somewhere along the line, people are going to be involved. And I think that's the most important thing for us to focus on is making sure that we have the right people in place. They're coached, they're trained, they understand their job, and they're selling to our customers.
Right. I think the emotional connection also matters. The presence of human matters here, right?
Boy, does it ever that when they leave the store, what is the impression that they have? If someone gave them great service, that stays with them. They talk to their neighbors about it. They become a walking billboard for that enterprise they just left. We can't discount that. I know everyone, just if you just attended the NRF in Manhattan, I mean, that's all anyone is talking about.
Right.
I did see some common sense that they said that people are still the most important. So hopefully they're just not saying that. Hopefully they believe that because I am a true believer that that's the most important piece of the puzzle. Do you have the right person in the right job? Are they coached and trained properly?
Definitely. Do you have some key takeaways that you want to share to our audience from the NRF summit that you attended?
The only thing I would say is that one must not forget that it's a sales tool for the industry.
Yeah.
So they're trying to sell every retailer the newest bell and whistle for their operation. So I think the hardest thing from a retail standpoint is if you have thousands of exhibitors, how do you know which one you need and which one you don't need?
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to that. But that's the question I would be asking is what is my ROI on the particular item that you're trying to sell me? How is it going to seamlessly support the enterprise? Effortless, efficiently, so that my customers don't even know it's there, but it's helping them. That's the goal I want to see from technology. And I understand that that was the big hullabaloo over the week, and it probably should be. But I think we need to be practical enough and bring common sense into the equation. Not all of it's going to work exactly as we think it is, or we wouldn't be discussing self checkouts 50 years later after they were developed.
Right.
So it's important that when we bring on new technology, that it's ready.
Right.
You know, Amazon's one that focuses on technology.
Yeah.
And if I'm ever critical of them, it's that I always say that the reason I think they have struggled on the grocery side is I don't think they're convinced yet that the customer shops for groceries,
Yeah.
not for technology.
Oh, yes.
And that's the
Great point.
piece I think they missed. So what I always say when they say just walk out,
Mm-hmm.
I always like to say I have a different take on it. It's just walk in. A real retailer knows the most important thing is inviting the customer in
Yeah.
and keeping them in the store as long as possible with exciting products, presentations, great service. And then that's how you increase the total sale and the profitability of that customer. That's the piece we just don't talk enough about. To me, it's common sense, but I think we've lost it.
I really like your perspective on that. Thanks for sharing, Walter. Uh, that brings me to the question that so Amazon, Costco, and Walmart, they control about 17% of the total retail sales. How does that play out for the smaller retailers?
I think it's tough as hell. That's what I think. I think it's tough. Number one is, Amazon's got e-commerce pretty locked up. However, they're getting attacked from a lot of different sides right
Definitely.
now. I mean, Asia's coming after them. Walmart's getting better every day. Costco's even shown a little perkiness towards the e-commerce side. But if I'm that small retailer, I have to be different. And I said this years ago when Amazon first came on board. I said the worst thing a retailer can do today is try to emulate Amazon because basically they were unprofitable. They were not a profitable retail enterprise. If it wasn't for AWS and their media buys, that's what allowed them to get away with the things that they did on retail.
Definitely, yeah.
Now, back to Walmart and Costco. I'm a huge fan. I think they're both doing just terrific jobs. And the one thing Costco has always been the strongest about is people. They pride themselves that they do it the Costco way. And Wall Street's not always happy about that their pay's better, their benefits are better. This is the way we do it. We don't have a lot of turnover in employees. We promote from within. And Wall Street years ago used to say, well, you're not maximizing your profits. And they would say, Jim Singleton, the founder, would say, no, but it's the Costco way.
Yeah.
Put your money with us, and in the long run, you'll be rewarded. And their stock is what, somewhere around $1,000 a share today.
Yeah.
Walmart under McMillan, who's been running it for 10 years now, just seems to be getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
And not only are they hurting the smaller retailers, which I think they are, especially if they're not different, but they're hurting Target, Dollar Tree, Dollar General. They're pulling customers from some of these multi-billion-dollar companies that just aren't keeping up. So you think about the small little guy, you got to go to specialty retailing. And especially retailing has been strong when you're showing them something that's different that they can't get through the big three. It's been very strong. Malls have shown an uptick here in the last 6 months. So that's very encouraging. Even department stores showed somewhat of a positive in December, though I think, in the long run, I think that's still an issue. I don't have a lot of confidence in the retail model of racks after racks after racks of apparel.
Yeah.
You go from one season to the other and you're marking down thousands and thousands of goods. And with the influx of fast fashion, it just doesn't make sense. Somehow that model has got to change.
Um, it's like going back to the point that you said that it's about creating an experience and making the shopper stay inside the stores. Is it something that the smaller retailers are missing out on somewhere with their shopper marketing tactics and
That's an interesting question. There's a grocery store in Naples, Florida, a very, very affluent area,
yeah,
a lot of wealthy people. And there's a company, there's a grocery store, one grocery store, it's called Seat the Table.
yeah,
Carries all, and I get a little profile on it a few months ago. They carry all the high end things that you would think of, all the better cuts of steak and seafood and everything else. But they also have two or three bars in there.
interesting.
You can buy your food, you can have the restaurant cook your steak,
Yeah,
and it's become almost a community hangout.
yeah,
So there's a great example of someone creating something that's a one only
yeah.
that is now probably the most exciting destination place in that little town. So it still can be done. It's probably a bigger challenge with a chain. I always say, like Macy's. I love Macy's.
Yeah.
Always have. I love Herald Square. I was in Manhattan 2 weeks ago, and I could not walk by it without going in. And I always say, every tourist that goes to Manhattan goes to Herald Square.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge for Macy's is, how do they put a little bit of Herald Square into every store? And that's the challenge. How do they recreate that excitement when you walk through those doors, that emotion, that experience that you get when you're in Herald Square Macy's? It's something special. And I think that's Macy's challenge.
Makes so much of sense. Um, this is the last question. So, and this is for the retail leaders of tomorrow. One of the things that you're a people first person, you've always stressed on the fact that being present on the sales floor is critical, it's important. Like a lot of people might call it old fashioned, but it's the most effective way. What is that key piece of advice you have for the future leaders of tomorrow?
To me, if you're a retail leader, even if you're not a retail leader, I don't care if you're a big factory running a big factory or whatever. The most important thing you can do is be on the sales floor, be on the shop floor, be in the office, be out there in the cubicles, just talking, walking, and listening can be so rewarding.
Right.
I always say, all the answers to your problems are on the sales floor.
Yeah.
If your target and you're struggling with sales, you have 400,000 associate experts.
Yeah.
Ask them what you need to do. That's what I would tell leaders to do. Engagement.
Yeah. Awesome. Such a nice session with you, Walter. Totally enjoyed this conversation. And I'm sure our audience would feel the same. If they want to find you, where can they find you?
The easiest way to reach out is through on LinkedIn. I spend most of my time on there. All they got to do is DM me and I'll respond. I really appreciate your time today and allowing me to do this with you. It was a joy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Walter.
Have a great day.
You too. We've come to the end of the episode. If you loved what you just listened to, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back next Monday with a really awesome guest. Stay tuned until then.